As we close out our Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we need to share one more survivor story. Let's welcome Cindy Bradford to the table. Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy you're here.
Thanks.
You guys remember meeting Cindy?
Yes, we do.
Last year at Grace Ahinger's first event at IHC.
Correct.
She was in line with us. Yep.
Yeah, it was her event for breast cancer awareness, right? And Cindy and I go way back, long time. 40 years? That makes us sound really old. Let's say 30. Even though we've
Probably
been graduated
40.
25 plus
It's got to be
years.
40 since
we
junior
go back
high.
a ways.
Okay, and as I recall, now when we were in the line, were you just coming off of your journey or had just spent a few
Yes.
months into your journey?
Well,
okay,
let's have
so
a-
yes,
so I
tell us.
Just,
Yes.
Yeah, I had just finished. So
Okay.
August of last year, I just went in for my normal mammogram, and I went and done them since I was 40 years old. So that was my 11th one.
Wow.
And so I went in just to Spanish Fork Hospital and had my mammogram, and then I got a call the next day to come have another one. But I had to go to Provo because the Spanish Fork doesn't do like the second, like more aggressive one.
Okay.
And had they told you at that point anything was
No.
wrong? Just said you
they
need
just
another
did nothing.
scan?
We want to look at it closer is kind of what they said.
Okay.
So I went over to Provo the next day and went in and had another one done. And then the tech said to me, the radiologist wants you to wait in the waiting room. So as a nurse, I knew that was not good.
Oh.
And I sat in that waiting room all by myself, just like, holy cow, what's happening? So the radiologist called me into his office, like the office, and he had two big screens up. So he had last year's mammogram and then he had this year's. And I couldn't believe what I saw.
Really?
And I was just like, oh, and I said, what do you think? And he's like, oh, I don't know, we've got to do a biopsy. And
So
I said,
was it a
okay.
big mass? Like,
So they were all over, like this whole breast was full, like all these little things all over. But a big one that he really narrowed down.
and then the other
did
breast, nothing?
Clear.
Crazy.
Clear.
Is that normal or typical?
Yeah, to
Okay.
normally just have one
Okay. All right.
So routine to,
full.
okay.
And how long do they feel like that was there for? Do
I don't
they
know.
know?
I had done the year before. So I
But
don't
you
even know.
felt fine.
Oh no,
Like,
I would
you
have
had-
never. I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel different. I had no illness. Nothing. Nothing.
So then what that happens, then does he say we're setting up a doctor appointment?
No, so
What's
then
next?
biopsy. So then that's
Right
what
then.
was crazy is that then I went into and tried to schedule it. Well, the lady's like, oh, it's probably about 2 weeks out.
Well,
And I'm like, oh my gosh, 2 weeks to wait to even biopsy to see if it's cancer or not.
right. Like, I'm going to be a mess.
I know. And so I said, will you put me on like just a waiting list? Like if you have a cancellation, I'd love to come sooner. So the following week, the nice receptionist called me. She's like, I had just had a cancellation. Let's get you in. So I had went in the following week and went in for the biopsy to be done.
okay.
And then you have to wait a week after for the biopsy results. So I'm just, it's like waiting of just wondering what's happening. And so then I'll never forget when I got the results and it said it was like stage 3, grade 3. It was a grade 3 is what they called it.
And did you know at that point what that
No, I had to
meant, or-
research it. With even being a nurse, I'm like, I don't even know what a grade 3 is.
Did they call you in or did they just call you
Called
on
me.
the phone? Just called you on the phone?
Yeah. And so then
Wow.
they scheduled me to go see a oncologist. So I had an oncologist and then I had a surgeon oncologist that I went to go see. And so my surgeon oncologist, and I'm going to say her name because she's awesome, but her name's Dr. Tittensor.
Perfect.
Yeah, Tittensor. Yes,
perfect
and
name.
and I had to ask her because I'm like, did you marry a Tittensor? Did you do this on purpose? Hold up. How
Did you
does
change
this-
your
'cause She
name?
used to not. She was just a general. What was she before that? She wasn't a. She wasn't. She
Oh my
specialized in
goodness.
oncology after.
Wow.
Wow.
And so, but she's amazing. So I went to see her, and she said, you know what, Cindy, I think we can just do a lumpectomy. Just remove this really large area, I think is what our plan is. And so I left there thinking, okay, that's doable. She said, but then before I left, she said, I always like to do an MRI just to make sure that it's just in that spot and not really all over. And so she scheduled an MRI to be done before I went in for the lumpectomy. Well, then I had that at 11 o'clock, the MRI. And she called me by 4 o'clock that day and said, I'm so sorry, Cindy, but it is everywhere in your breast. You are going to have a mastectomy now. And I was just like, oh. She said, do you want to do both? And I said, I do. Take them both. It's fine. And so I was already scheduled for lumpectomy, so then they just went ahead. And so September 21st is when I had double mastectomy. And it was tough. It was probably the hardest thing that you could ever imagine, because they cut all of the nerves, muscles, everything is cut. They took out lymph nodes on both sides just to make sure that I was clear with my lymph nodes, and I was. But on the breast, it had come out of the border, which means it's come out of the lining of the breast and had start to spread. And because of that, then I had to do 25 days of radiation. So I went every day, and they radiated that breast to make sure that burned off that line, where the lining where it had went out. They wanted to make sure they had burned that off. And so I would go to work every day, and we would just head over after work and go have radiation.
Oh my gosh.
It was 25 days of torture. It really was not easy. So,
And just mentally going through the mastectomy and then having to head into something that was like physically really hard too.
oh, painfully hard. Yeah, it was really a hard thing.
So what got you through, like
Yeah.
coming on the other
I
side?
don't know. You know, I had people that I really liked that reached out. And Rebecca Crespin, you guys all know her. She was fabulous. She really helped. And my great friends, just good support.
Yeah.
And then you know what? I thought, I have way too much to do in my life to let this get me down. So I only took 4 weeks off work when I had my double mastectomy. Because I thought, I'm not going to sit at home.
Yeah.
I'm getting back. And my sweet husband took a whole month off work and took care of me.
Wow.
Love it.
So he was a trooper through it all. And he's really a trooper.
I was going to pun intended.
He's really a highway patrolman. Yes.
double duty.
They let him take a whole month off just to take care of me. So it was really
This has been 1 year now.
1 year
And
in September.
How do you feel now?
Good. I had reconstruction done in April. So that's
How
done.
was that recovery by comparison? I've
It
heard
was
kind of bad and
wasn't
good, too.
terrible.
Okay.
But the thing they do now, they don't put any type of saline or anything in. They take the fat from your stomach, and it's called a fat transfer. So they're transferring fat from your own body into your breasts, and so you don't get any foreign objects in there. And so
Maybe there's a plus side.
Yeah, you get a little bit of
bit.
fat taken out. My husband's like, hook me up. But that was probably the most painful, was having the fat removed from the stomach than it was having the reconstruction done.
Do you think it was helpful also that you had a medical background? Just your perspective?
Oh, yes, I knew what I needed. I knew when, things I needed to do to get better.
Being proactive.
Absolutely.
And going back to you saying too, I remember coming to visit you and you saying so-and-so has reached out and they had experienced this. I can't believe all the people that have gone through this, but
unreal.
You don't know. And it was those who had the most empathy really have experienced similar things.
And so that's why I want to be a complete advocate, because you know what? People have no idea when they think, I can just wait a couple of years. You can't. They told me I would have not been around the following year if I would have waited.
Wow.
And not having any other symptoms,
Nothing.
right? So you just don't know.
And so I did genetic testing. Oh, are we done?
No, I don't know. What's our time? Has he given us our time?
We're almost there, but
When I did genetic testing and nothing in my genes. So it was not
Just a
even
fluke.
wow,
just
that's
a
interesting
really
to know,
quick thing.
because I've done that as well. So I guess that's just not, completely for sure.
It
Like
can
you're
be a
good to
plus,
go.
but it's not necessarily the
So
deal breaker.
yes, in our final minutes then for the for the folks that maybe haven't had their mammogram, Yes, yes, and
Go
yes, yes.
get your mammogram. It's so
Okay.
important.
Mine's
'cause-
tomorrow.
Oh, good. And you just did yours.
And I do mine in January.
There we go. And that's what I had always
my
done, like on my birthday, around my birthday is when I
perfect
had
timing.
always done mine.
Yep.
And so, yeah, 11 years of it.
Cindy, thanks for coming in and
Yes,
sharing
thank
your
you.
story.
Thank you. Thank you for your courage
And if
and your
anyone
example.
needs help, I would love to reach out and help because I think it really takes a lot of support through the whole thing.
sounds like it.
Wholesome.
I love your shirt.
Thanks again.
Love you, Cindy.
Thank you.